Okay, I think. Let me see if we're live.
I couldn't
Okay, we're
feel
live.
it when I was standing there, but now that I'm on my back, I feel like I'm on a freaking vibrating bed.
Oh.
I'm serious. Wait till you lay down.
It's nice. Pick another air conditioner. It's just turning hot, isn't it? All right, I'm just gonna have a look at your.
Holy crap! That air conditioner is crazy.
It's working well.
Yeah, I mean it's vibrating my whole body.
Yeah, I can feel it under my feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing this, like on a platform.
Holy shit.
That's awesome. It's like a massage table.
Yeah, it's a massage room. That might. I wonder if I could do that.
Maybe you could market it.
Yeah, no shit. Like a whole body room.
All right, could you bend your knees and put your soles of your feet on the mat?
Maybe.
Yep. And then just lift your hips, just like an inch off the mat. Yep. And then down, and then straighten the legs. There you go. I'm just going to place my hands on your hips. That's okay. On your hip bones. I'll just keep your legs relaxed. Looks like. Can you just pull your shorts up or down so like right on your hip bone? Yeah, that's great. Thanks. So I can just. It's actually your left. Looks a little bit longer. Not that it is longer, it's just sitting in a position that makes it look longer. Does that make sense? Alright, so let's have you bend your knees.
That could be like a Freudian question for people. Like, pull your shorts up or down. Like, mine would always be down. I'm like, like almost 100. I mean, I didn't even, I'm like, it's like.
I expect nothing less from you, Mark.
Like,
can you bend your knees?
Clothes on or off, Well, like in John's, you're in like a serious massage class or whatever. Like the students can't screw around with there's always somebody in the class that like isn't naked when they're supposed to be naked or whatever, and you're like, and I'm the guy who like doesn't want to put his clothes back on again. And I'm like, what? And, freaking 10 seconds, I'm going to be putting my shorts back on again.
Do you want me to get that for you?
I'm like, can't we just pretend like we're in the Bahamas and you give me a sarong or something,
And forget this. Take a breath, take a breath. Alright.
That's nice. That actually.
Feel good? So just trying to open up your outside joint. I'm just gonna tilt the left side of your pelvis back a little bit. And then the next one is just a small movement for you to do. So, and your hips are going to stay on the mat, and they're going to slide in this fashion, like you're bringing the top of this hip up towards this armpit. It's kind of like the hula. Yeah, there you go. Let's just do a few of those.
We'll be twerking before we know it.
You'll be all glutes.
Yeah, be like, watch this, I can make them pop.
Okay,
That'll be good for the
awesome.
tips. Be like, did you see that guy's ass? It just jumped.
Can you straighten this leg?
Okay.
And then I'm gonna lift this knee up, and I'm gonna slide my hand underneath your hip there. Do this on the table, so I'm improvising here. That's fine.
Oh.
Alright.
Yeah, you see, like that quad is definitely.
On this side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think right now the right side is but I kept up, I really stretched this side a lot more at a lot of times than, and the compensation over the last few years has got huge.
Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull your knee up into this position, and I want you to only use about 10% of your strength, and I'm going to resist. So push into my hand, yeah, and relax. Then let's do that again. And relax. And push. And then relax. Alright, you go ahead and straighten that leg. Then if you could just do that hip lift again that we started with. So yeah, knees bent, feet on the floor, and then hips up, then hips down. And legs straight.
Now in PT, we've been doing the bridges with the band on.
Oh yeah, like around your legs?
I'm trying to figure out what the...
And could you straighten your legs, sorry? What the
benefit to the band is on that.
Well, it's to keep the band taut, you're using muscles like your external rotators.
Yeah.
Like back in your hips to create stability in your pelvis.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so let's start off your hips.
Yeah, I got some bands for. I couldn't find the bands I had at home, so I finally got some ordered. And first ones I got were too big. I thought I'd need large ones, so when I got them, I'm like, I don't need large ones. I need standard size ones.
Oh, there you go. There's a lot you can do with bands, I tell you.
Yeah.
Endless. It's endless and the most affordable thing out there.
Yeah, and I mean, even a nice set, is like $20-$30.
I know, like the fancy ones that try and like add little, I don't know, trinkets to go with it. All right, so let's start with the knees bent. And let's just start really easy. We're going to start with what I call marching. So it's just going to be in place like this, and I just want you to lift your leg up just so like the femur is like perpendicular to the floor. Yeah, and then the foot back down. And then the opposite leg. And if you can just do that a few times while I watch you, that would be awesome. And I want you, while I'm watching, to kind of just feel what's going on in your body. The different parts of lifting up the leg.
Lots of tension in the back, like around that.
Around what, sir?
Like going up into like the thoracics.
Okay.
And up through here, like that.
Lower thoracic, kind of?
Yeah.
Is that where you were pointing? So let's try. I brought a couple of props with me. I wanted to try. Let's just.
This is helping a little bit.
Yeah. In the area that it was bothering when you lifted? Okay, that's great. Give it a stretch.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it great just how a simple stretch can be?
It's weird because
so
there's
powerful.
like so I get like weird crunchies sometimes when I do this, and it's not like an adjustment, but it's like the vertebrae are crunchy a little bit.
Okay.
I don't quite know
What's crunching?
What's crunching, how to explain it.
Alright, so I'm going to put this block on the mat, and I want to put it underneath. Actually, I'm going to put one for each foot.
Okay.
One foot up, yep, and then put the whole, yep. It doesn't have to be the whole foot, like you can even start with the arch on the edge or something, whatever kind of feels comfortable for you.
Okay.
And so you know right away from what you felt there that when moving that leg, the back was getting involved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're going to try and do now is reduce that back involvement And so by starting with the foot up, I'm hoping that that's going to make a difference.
Okay.
So I want you to focus on the movement coming from your brand new hip.
Okay.
And don't go as far. So let's take the movement and just cut it in half. So like just lift up the leg, like go halfway, yep, and then lower. And what do you feel in the low back?
It's still like difficult for me to do without I mean, it's not difficult. I'm just noticing a tension, like sort of between the shoulder blades.
Okay, interesting.
Where I'm just, like I'm automatically tightening up.
Oh, interesting. To
because I'm so used to like with so many of the exercises, like the box squats and everything like that, it's like such a whole body
experience
movement.
Okay, let me try something else.
To get it done.
Move this up, I'm gonna give you another block. And then I want you to think about this right quad is the main, that their hip flexor through there is gonna be the main mover for that. Okay. So I want you to pick it up in slow motion, with the shoulder blades relaxed. Yeah, actually put the foot back down and put your right hand, left hand, right in the middle of your belly. And pick up that right foot, see what happens. You see the movement in your belly and your chest? Do you feel that? There's kind of like a gripping going on right through this area. So what I want you to think about doing is that movement is gonna come just from the leg. Are you still breathing? That's always a tricky one. So yeah, we don't want to have.
You need to take more than one breath.
Yeah, we can take as many as you need. That was wonderfully reduced.
Well, you see, this quad has been one of the things that's been hard. Like straight leg raises, I'm still not.
That's okay.
I can do them.
Nope.
I can do them like a little bit, but
that's okay. If there's no rush, right? Like if we can do them right, and try and go halfway. Yeah, there you go. That's really curious for me in
see,
that.
I mean, I want to like tighten up all the way from like the sphincter up to like the neck. It's like
that is a fantastic revelation. But that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
I mean, I notice that I like pucker up and then the leg goes to move.
Right, and then the leg, so it's like you're preparing to move the leg, right?
Yeah.
And what we're trying to do is train the brain to get that neural pathway to get this muscle to lift the leg. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
You totally picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
So I want you just to also be aware. I'm going to put my hand right on the side of your foot. And where does just pick up your knee again. Where does your foot want to go? Oh yeah, you did a great job. It's like you're external rotating a little bit on the way up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's try and keep the leg in this plane. Like there's two pieces of glass right here. That your leg, it's like your foot would follow your knee. Does that make sense? There you go. Ow, that's very awesome. Really awesome.
I definitely had to pucker up for that.
Let's try and not. Yeah, see, I can see your pucker in your pelvis. Man, I can't see your pucker, but you know what I'm saying. Like I can see.
Well, I mean, it's less. I'm relaxing my shoulders.
Well, that's fantastic step forward. Yes, shoulders super relaxed.
Yeah,
super relaxed.
A little more relaxed through the abdominals and everything.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I'm working towards. Is we want that hip to move itself, right?
And like I say again, I just did come back from PT like an hour ago.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Yeah.
That had if we were doing this like on an off day or whatever, then. Yeah. Which I think that might be a way to do it.
Sure. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's take a couple breaths, relax.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that
Because
the
I'd probably
shoulders
be
are
moving a whole
decreasing.
lot different if I, got up and took a swim this morning instead of, did the PT.
Alright, so let's switch sides and we'll give that leg a break for a bit. Let me I'll put the blocks over to this side. You can put your heel down. Yeah. And again, maybe take your left. Yeah. Very nice. Just a tiny bit of that external rotation, but you're correcting it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still puckering up a little bit on that, but not near as much.
So it's really about quality, not quantity when you do these, right?
Yeah.
I don't want you to just bang out 10 of them and be on your phone and say, okay, I did my homework, right? It's kind of like, am I doing it right? Am I able to relax? Like your shoulders are doing great.
Yeah.
Lots of relaxation there. Yeah, like do you see the breath? I see that's just a little bit kind of, it's almost like it's a little jerky. Do you feel that? There. Nice and smooth. So, when you're lifting the leg, are you exhaling or inhaling? Did you notice? Doesn't really matter. There's no wrong way to do it.
Inhaling on
the leg.
On the exercise.
Right. So you're inhaling as you lift the leg up?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we, just for fun, let's try it the other way. So have an inhale first in this position, and then exhale your leg up. And then you can inhale it down. Because really, it's kind of like both the lift and the lower is an exercise in this move, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're both, your leg's doing work in both spots. Is it bothering you?
I'm just noticing it's more awareness than bothering me. It's bothering me because I'm increasingly figuring out that this left side is even tighter than the right, so
okay.
it's not. It's an awareness, and
right.
Like this is feeling great.
Yeah, good stretch. Yep. Good. Enjoy that stretch.
Oh. No, that's why it's great to be, the pool. So we converted it into salt water.
Oh,
We've
you
got,
did.
It's like.
That's stellar. You like it?
Which is great because there's supposed to be like a great chlorine shortage this summer too.
I just heard about that yesterday. I was
Yeah.
gonna tell you that like some plant blew up or something.
Yeah.
What is that all about? Can you put that that left foot back there? And this time let's not move the leg as far. Kind of look a little rotated there, yeah. Let's not move the leg as far, but I want you to concentrate on that foot. Is the knee staying in line? Because I think what's happening is the knee's going out a little bit and the foot's coming in. There you go. And try only going halfway. Like go up half of what you did. Yeah, and then back down. That really made a nice difference along your waist to relax it. And I like to use, I think Aaron did it, didn't he, that muscle tapping? You're like, we're trying to get this one to do all the work. So with a little bit of tapping before you engage it. Yeah, there you go. So it's like the brain is like, oh, here I go. That's the guy that's doing the hip flexion for me. Big correction, I saw you kind of put your foot in line there. That was really totally awesome. Tight.
I'm in it, hey, I'm figuring out some self-connective tissue techniques.
Well, that's
because it's like
incredibly valuable sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't easy, but you know what? I'm getting fascia.
You're getting fascia.
You know?
Just remove these from your foot. And let's go on to this kind of a pelvic tilt in the same position with the knees bent. So it's like lifting the low back off the mat and then pressing the low back into the mat. So I think like a lot of people call it pelvic rocking. Yeah, there you go. The back comes off. Let's do that a few times. Try and let your butt cheeks remain on the mat. It looks like you're lifting, like you're doing more work than you need to. Yeah. See a lot of hamstrings involved. So let's see if we can think about when you press the low back on the floor, we're using the abdominals in the front. Yeah, there you go. Nice work. Hamstrings are starting to decrease. Yeah. And take a break. I'm really seeing some great low back come onto the floor. I'd like to see a little bit more of a lift of the low back off the mat. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like just create a little bit of an arch there. There you go. And how do you feel like between your shoulder blades?
Great, until you said so.
Let's keep between the shoulder blades relaxed.
It's like breathe. I hate when they say that.
I know. Oh, I know. I know. It's so complicated. When you
I had this one therapist in New Zealand that I got a massage. It was like at like this art show in a park or something like that, in the middle of like downtown. Pretty cool though, like in a park in sort of like downtown New Zealand. I guess you could say downtown. Great massage, except for however long I was on the table. I don't recall how much it was, but I swear she had to have like crunched my breath 1,000 times. It was like every other,
Oh really? It's just.
It was like.
You're over it?
Yeah, I want you to take 3 deep breaths now. I want you to take 5 deep breaths now. Okay, now. Breathe again, and I'm like, oh my God, I just want to sit back and listen to the birds and the people.
Yeah. Stop talking. All right, so let's do a little less movement. I mean, I saw the hamstrings start coming back. Yeah, see, there you go. When you focus on it, you can decrease those hamstrings. So you're just using a combination of the abdominals and then the low back muscles when you arch. See? There you go. And how about your feet? Are they relaxed, not pressing into the mat? They look like they're doing good. All right, I'm gonna change it up. I got a pool noodle here, and I also grab a towel.
Horrible with counting.
With counting? Oh, don't worry. Really. Is it okay if I take a towel from under here on the stack?
Sure.
Okay, just in case we need it. So I'd like to slide the pool noodle underneath your low back.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow, since anybody said that.
And your hips touching? No? Let's get
almost.
We'll try different thicknesses of towels. All right. Is that totally uncomfortable or is it manageable? Totally manageable?
No, it's good.
All right, great. So you're sitting, so I'm creating an arch in your low back, right, with the pool noodle. And so, does it feel good?
Yeah.
So let's just lay here and breathe, actually, and just feel that. So it would help create a stretch on the front of the spine. So it's trying to find a happy medium between the pelvis working with your torso and then your pelvis being able to work without your torso, right? But there seems to be some tension with your torso and your pelvis. But by loosening up the pelvis separately, it can move on its own when we want it to, and then it can move together with the torso when we want it to, right? So it's not always tied to the torso.
Okay.
So let's just do like a mini version of what we were just doing, the pelvic tilt. So just gently press your low back into the noodle and then lift your low back. It doesn't even have to come off the noodle. Just like, it's like you're taking the weight off of the noodle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just getting a little bit of rotation in the hips. Very nice. And so as your pelvis is moving, as your pelvis is moving, it's moving around the femur head that's inside the acetabulum, right, of the pelvis. Does that make sense? Instead of normally, like when we were marching, you were moving the femur inside the pelvis. And now we're moving the pelvis, but keeping the femur still. So it's another way to help that motion of the femur in the pelvis. And we're kind of reaching, like we're kind of doing it from the other side of things.
Right.
Looking good. Oh, that's really nice. No pain, no discomfort in the back?
No, that feels great actually.
Okay, good.
Like I said, it feels like just one of the things that, you know, that I really need for.
Okay, great. Let's try doing something very similar, but lying on your side on the noodle. And the noodle will go between your rib cage and your pelvis. Kind of on the soft. You can start, we'll do both sides, so you can start on whichever side you want first.
Okay. Now where are we doing the noodle?
The noodle's gonna go like right here. I'll take this towel out from under you. And if you lift your hips up, I'll slide it underneath you. There we go. We're not squishing any ribs.
I think we're good.
Okay. Do you want to pull up your head?
Sure. I didn't get much sleep last night.
Don't go on to sleep on. Don't go on to sleep on me.
Here in the bed right now, like your shoulders aren't stacked. Stack your shoulders. Your shoulders.
Your hips
Get
stacked.
them on top of each other.
I love it. So we're going to do, we did this motion when I was looking at your leg length, that you were doing it on your back. So we're going to tilt the hip. So the top of this hip is going to come towards the armpit. So it's like you're pressing this side into the noodle and then lifting it from the noodle. It's a little tricky.
Yeah, I can feel that. Down in that joint.
In which joint, sorry?
Down in the hip joint.
Okay.
Doesn't feel bad, but could be some of that scar tissue too that I'm feeling.
Well, you can reduce the movement if you want. See how that feels.
No, it doesn't feel bad. It
Okay.
feels good.
Okay,
Like
great.
I say, I'm noticing you can't address the limitations without noticing them, without acknowledging them. So
Can you take your right hand and just place it so it's like just sitting on top of that hip bone right here? Yep. I just want you to be aware of the movement. Yep. There you go. It helps me watch your hip too. I tried doing it at half that speed. Really slow. There we go. You're already starting to move like in a bigger range. Let's check in with the rest of your body. Holding any tension, shoulders, jaw.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be like a hula girl pinup too.
You got enough grass skirts or palm leaves around here to make a grass skirt?
Well, no, I'm just thinking of that tattoo, you know, now that I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
holding off forever, and it's like,
I love it. Make a hula girl. That would be totally great. Okay. How do you feel about rolling over onto your right side? There you go.
okay.
All right. Get yourself comfortable. Take a breath. I want you to take your awareness to your left knee. It's really doing a lot of work. It's starting to help out. Can you just slow it down a little bit for me? Yeah, that's great. Let's see if we do a little bit less range, if we can get that left knee, yeah, to just totally relax. There we go. Really like that. It's like the weight of that left knee is now on top of the right. So you think where your left thumb is there on the back of your left hip, the QL muscle is lifting that hip up away from the feet so that the knee doesn't have to do the work. There you go. All right, take a break. I'm just gonna write that down.
Oh. Oh, that noodle's good.
Do you have one at home?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, man.
99 cents, well spent, isn't it? And I haven't quite done it yet, but I'm thinking, because I like to use it too, I'm thinking that my next progression is going to be to put a piece of PVC in the middle of the noodle to just give it a little bit more resistance so I don't flatten it so much when I use it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that'll be like my next progression for myself.
Oh, man.
Does it feel good?
Yeah. Oh.
Let's see where you're at with, when we were marching, I talked about seeing a little bit of external rotation. So let's work on a little bit the opposite of internal rotation. Take the feet a little further apart in this position. And then we're gonna think, this is gonna be like an Aaron Roddice thing. We're gonna wanna keep our hips where they are on the mat. And then we're gonna take the left, we can start with the other one, but I'm gonna start with the left and drop the left knee in. But still kind of keep the brakes on this hip so it doesn't lift off the mat. Does that make sense? So you're dropping the knee in towards the middle. Yep. And let's alternate with the right knee. Let that knee come in. There you go. And then the left knee comes in. And alternate to the right. It's interesting, yeah. Now, it looks like you have more range of motion on the right. You feel that?
Yeah.
Then move left. Interesting. Can you take your left hand, put it underneath your left hip? Yeah, just let your left hip rest on your hand. And I just want you to be, you see how that left hip, it's like it wants to help and lift up to allow the knee to go further to the right. And I want that left hip to really stay glued to the mat. And so you're using the muscles on the inside of your thigh. That's going to take that leg towards the midline. There you go. Really nice. And let's open the leg a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a relax. Yeah. Just take the knee out a little bit more when you come out of it, and then go in. Very nice. So there's, right over it.
We can turn it off so it doesn't.
Thanks, that would be great.
To send this. I haven't had a chance to send the invoice yet, so I'm unsure. Okay.
All right, take a breath, take a break, and then we'll try that one again. So I love this one for you, especially for actually your left leg. So if I had you on a table, I'd put the seatbelt around your pelvis right now to keep your pelvis really. Oh, you're doing a good job. Keep your pelvis down. So we're using the muscles in the middle of the thigh and then giving a stretch to the ones outside of the thigh. How's the low back? Is it involved? I'm hoping it can be, you can find a place to relax.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good. So on the next time on the left side, don't bring your knee quite as far in. Yeah, and then come back out. I just want to find the spot where that hip starts to come up, and so we kind of stop moving that left knee in before the hip starts to want to lift off. There you go. That looks like you've got a lot of ease in that movement. And the idea is that if we stay in that range, the body gets really comfortable in that range, and then we can slowly work past that range without forcing the body to do it. Like the body's going to open up and allow that range to increase.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so let's have a review of what we did today. We did marching off the blocks, right? Straight for you, don't fall asleep on me. Marching, just lifting, put 2 blocks under 1 foot, right? So you're starting up, and then the low back is relaxed on both sides, right? And it's not about how far we go, it's about keeping all of this relaxed and keeping the foot in line with the knee, right? So we're not dropping the knee out to the side. It's like 2 pieces of glass right here that both the foot and the knee move in the same line. And then we did pelvic tilts, but without the noodle, right?
Okay.
And then we did them with the noodle on our back, and we did them on the sides as well, right? Make sense? Pretty easy?
Yep.
And then we did internal rotation, 1 knee at a time. So it's really easy, super basic stuff, but you can see how I'm trying to decrease your compensation
Yeah.
and go for what I call pure movement, like just a pure movement in the hip.
Right.
So we can get that hip joint to do its job and do all the work, so all the rest of this stuff can do its primary job and not have to do double duty
Right.
and help out the hip.
Uh-huh.
So then less aches and pains, you know?
Cool.
Yeah, excellent. I'll send you a little note.
I love the concept.
Yes, and I do, you know, it's kind of, my instructor's awesome. She always uses the analogy of the turtle. It's like slow and steady wins the race, right? And this isn't one of those, you know, CrossFit, work hard,
Yeah.
make massive gains, you know, feel the pain. This is like really taking it down.
No, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna get up off the floor. Are you kidding me? You know, and there's actually, I wish maybe you might be able to help me figure out what this is too, because I was gonna try to take to Google and find it again. But there's an assessment that was developed by a physician quite a long time ago, and it has a direct correlation to life expectancy. And it's so the simplicity, the brilliance is in the simplicity, and that's you're on the ground, and I forget in what position, whether you're prone or you're supine, but you're on the ground. How many movements does it take for you to get standing up?
Isn't that interesting? Oh my
And there's
gosh.
a direct correlation with your mortality rate and how many
that's-
movements, because when you're hurting, it's like, you'll be like,
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I know.
I mean, it's like, you know, I'm up to what, like, I just put my hand on my knee.
See?
I'm up to, you know, like
Yeah.
10.
So it's a really basic
Where
concept.
you take like somebody that's like in the special forces or something like that, they might be able to do it in 1.
Yeah.
I actually watched somebody do it in 1 in a movie not too long ago, where they were like, you know, they kind of rolled themselves. You got to get momentum to do something like that, and so they managed to fling their legs up over you know, up over and
Okay.
kind of do like a somersault and then whoop,
And
you
land
know.
on their feet.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
it was,
that's
but it
probably
was
a
like,
Navy
but it
SEAL.
was like a one movement, you know, and that's what made me think about it. And I really wish I knew because